So I wanted to attack this question because I thought it was a really interesting question. The question says, is patience the key to success? Is patience the key to success? So straight away, the answer is no. But let me add on to that. It isn't the key to success, but it's one of the keys to success. I'm writing a book at the moment, and in that book, I talk about things that I have learned leading up to age 30. And one of the principles that I talk about and keys that I talk about in that book is never make anything everything. Meaning that never make, for example, your family your absolute everything. Because if you make your family your absolute everything, the issue that you have is if your family abandons you, if your family leaves you, then you have nothing, right? What you're supposed to do is that you're supposed to have balance. You're supposed to, of course, love your family and have your family there, but you're also supposed to have other people outside of your family. You're supposed to have acquaintances, co-workers, friends. You're supposed to have people who are mentors to you. You need to encircle yourself with a multiplicity of different people. Yes, absolutely. You can be somebody who is a conservative, but never make politics everything. Because if you make politics everything or religion everything, then you have a problem. Because anything that contradicts that, then is just basically disrupts your entire world and you brings your entire world down to ashes. In fact, if you look at history and you look at some of the most biggest as, as atrocities, some of the biggest atrocities have come from religion, right? Religion is one of the main causes of some of the biggest atrocities in history. Why? Because essentially in history many people have had the belief that it's either their religion or nothing, right? And that belief is what has led to so many different wars and so many different killings, and it's either my tribe or your tribe, it's either this faith or no faith, right? Having absoluteness, living. I've been writing these notes where I've been talking about the what leads to the dark side of life. And one of the things that leads to the dark side of life is where you start living an absolute kind of life, where you start saying things like it's either this or that. You're either good or you're bad. You're either a Muslim or you're dead to me, or you don't exist. When you start having that extremist mentality where not everything is either black or white, there's never anything in between, it means that basically everything becomes invalid and everything becomes your enemy and everything needs to be eradicated so that you can create this kind of pure world, so that you can create this perfect utopia. But the reality of life is supposed to be messy. Life is supposed to be ugly. Life is supposed to be controversial. You're supposed to have people who contradict you. You cannot have the light without the darkness. You cannot have the darkness without the light. You cannot have good without bad. You cannot have high success without low failure. You're supposed to have these yin and yangs, these contradictions, these what is called inter-erring in Chinese, where you have these kind of yin and yangs, these contradicting forces which are operating at the same time. So I would say to you that yes, patience indeed is one of the keys, but it isn't the only key to success, right? And so there are multiple other keys. For example, there is hard work, there is teamwork, there is leadership, there is marketing, right? I talk about, in fact, in that book that I was saying about earlier on that I'm writing about lessons that I have learned, I talk about another principle which I said that yes, it's all very good for you working hard, but something has to be said for leadership. Something has to be said for marketing. Something has to be said for teamwork. And I talk about that because a lot of people are one-trick ponies. A lot of people work hard, but they don't have the other necessary skills that are required in order to achieve success. For example, listen, you can be the greatest you can be the most patient person in a relationship, but for example, if you don't have initiative, if you don't have common sense in your relationship, you're going to have serious problems, right? Because of course patience is really good when your partner is struggling, but sometimes you may have to go counseling. You may have to go and be think outside the box and try out other kinkier things in the bedroom. You may have to set yourself boundaries. You may have to go and, I don't know, work an extra job. Do you understand what I'm saying? There are multiple things that are involved, that one thing isn't just it. In fact, if patience was the only thing most that was required, most of us would be failures, right? Because, or certainly, particularly in relationships, most relationships would work because the level of patience that women have for men is unreal. You know, I was doing another video yesterday where I was talking about reasons why women end up asking for divorce more times than men. And one of the things that I wrote down and I was sharing with people is that men don't get the gravitas of situations until it's too late. And what I mean by that is that a lot of men, we just don't get how important things are to women. When a woman says, our sex life isn't very good, babes, you haven't touched me, most men don't really get how important that is to a woman, right? We have no intimacy, babes. We need more money. I need you to be able to get more money because I'd like to have us to have another child. Man doesn't really get the gravitas of what the woman's saying until it's too late, and she now wants a divorce, and now he does this last-ditch attempt to try and get her back. So I don't know whether that's been helpful for you or not, but essentially, yes, patience is one of the keys, but it isn't the only key. There are multiple other keys. And just to finish off, one of the things that I particularly persuade people of is one of the... I'm sure you've heard of that period, I think it was like 4 years ago, when there is a book called The Secret came out, which is all about manifestation and affirmations. And a lot of people did what they were supposed to do and did try to manifest what they wanted, and they thought about it and they did all these other things. But the law of attraction is one of multiple different laws, right? There's the law of action of sowing and reaping, for example. Meaning, yes, of course, you should envision what you want. You should envision and manifest whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. But it's a very different thing actually doing the work, because that requires discipline. You've actually got to show up when you're not feeling like it. When let's take the example that you want to manifest and you want to attract into your life a new car. Absolutely. That's one aspect. But if you just stay in your home, you never go out looking for any cars in car showrooms, you don't go out there and apply for, I don't know, HPI, you don't go out there online and look at cars online, you ain't getting a new car. A car is not just going to magically appear in your house, or outside your front door. It just doesn't work like that. So I shared with people that, yes, absolutely, the law of attraction is indeed one law, but it isn't the only law. There are multiple other laws that you have to think about. The law of correspondence. There's so many other different laws. So that's just something that I would share with you, and I hope it's kind of answered your question. But thank you very much for the question. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that fancy stuff. I appreciate it. Bye for now.